Hey guys, this is a little track walkthrough I wanted to do for my VA Apex team for an upcoming race. Never really done this before, so just want to give it a shot. It's probably not going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but bear with me. I hope it's helpful to a couple of my teammates. So we're going to start off at the end of a lap. I'm currently chasing our good friend Rick Yeager in the Team Blue car. So I'm going to leave up all this stuff so you can see my braking and my gas and all that good jazz and gears and whatnot. So I'm going to try to get a run on Richard here. Try to get around him. Got to get a little faster. So when you're going to be going down the straight, 6th gear, and typically you're going to be on the left side of the road, you know, hopefully nobody's beside you. And here's your braking point, the 300 board, and so when you pass the 300 board, you want to pretty much threshold brake down to 3rd gear and turn in. Now, it's super important when you get down here and you turn in, don't hit this big white curb. You really want to take your right tires through this off-white color as close as you can to this big white curb, but it's better to be a little bit off the apex than to hit it, because if you hit it, it really launches the car into air, unsettles it, can spin you, launch you into somebody on your outside. Just need to stay away from it altogether. Now when you exit, you're going to track out really far. Now we're approaching the S's. Now I cannot go full throttle from here all the way through the S's to the straight. When I turn in, you're going to see me lift a little off my gas down here to sacrifice my entry so that I can stay tight and be on the right side of the road when I exit, because if you push on entry here, you just destroy your lap. So, and you can see right here I'm lifting. So I know I'm getting in here pretty hot, so I'm going to lift so I can ride this curb and stay super tight on this right side of the hill. Now when I start up the hill, this is what I'm looking for. I can't see the turn-in point, I can't see the apex, I can't see this big wall that wants to jump out and grab me up here. All I can see is this right here. So I turn in right here, and depending on when I crest, if I feel like I'm a little hot, I'll upshift to 6th gear early to rotate the rear. When you do that gear shift, it'll ever so slightly rotate the rear and get you around the corner if you're a little hot and you're pushing a little bit. Now we're heading down the straight, longest straight on the track, picking up some pretty good speed, 6th gear. And here's our next braking point. So the tire wall, the end of this wall, the tire wall, this general area is where you're going to brake. Now this is a crest. This is going over a hump, so you can't threshold brake here or you're going to lose the car when it crosses this little hump right here. So you want to brake, you've got to feel it out, find your braking, and don't downshift early, because if you try to downshift to 5th going over this hump, it can unsettle the car. Essentially what you want to do is, brake and get down to 4th gear and get down tight on the curbing. Now my next point is this little, what I call the batting cage. This is my on throttle point. So I'm tight on the curbing, 4th gear. I'm off the brakes. I'm already picking up my throttle, it looks like. And around this, when I see this batting cage, is about the time I go full throttle. I'll track out here. Now, on this particular lap, it looks like I'm kind of heading over here to the right side of the road, but you really don't need to. Staying in the middle to the left is just as fast, if not faster, because you just lose time going out here. I mean, this is really banked. I've been to Watkins Glen. It's like a roller coaster, so there's an elevation change and it's on camber, so I mean you can really stay to the middle or inside right here. There's tons of grip, and the great thing is that's usually the defensive line as well. So here you want to get down to third gear and get down on that white curbing. And you'll just have to find your on throttle spot. I just kind of feel my way through that part. So here we are, and the 200 board is going to be our brake marker. You know, you're going to drop down to third gear, threshold brake, and you want to stay kind of wide, and you don't want to turn in until you get down here to this different colored pavement, because you want your tires on that. That's really where the grip is in this turn. So we're on the different colored pavement patch here, and I'm already picking up throttle. So we'll back up a little bit. So right here, I'm starting to pick up the throttle, and my apex is way up here, and I'll be full throttle before I ever get there. We're pretty close to it. So here again, 200 board, threshold brake, down to third gear. Pretty straightforward turn, and you're looking about right here is your apex. You want to be full throttle before you get there. You can be tracked out over this curve. Now here, I jumped over here to the right side, but you really don't have to. I think it's just as fast to stay over here on the left or in the middle. And jumping out here really is just burning time that you don't need to. Now here, you're going to see me stay super tight on this curb right here. I try not, this is about what my screen looks like when I drive, and I try to never lose sight of this. I try to keep that in my view at all times. And about right here, when I see this dissimilar concrete again, this is where I start picking up the throttle. You can see I'm already getting on the throttle here, and I'll start feeding it in until I go full throttle just a little bit up the road before the apex. Now here you can see I'm already sort of starting to turn in, but essentially I will give a little maintenance brake at the 100 board. I mean, not a lot. You're going to take this turn pretty fast, so I just get on the brakes a little bit just to put some weight on the nose and drop the fourth gear and turn in and pretty much go full throttle. Now here, you know, I track out back there, and then I try to get on the left side of the road and get my car straight and settled, and you can see this kind of dissimilar area where the grass kind of kicks out over here, a little discontinuity in the grass. So I'm going to again lightly brake and downshift to fourth at pretty much the same time and turn in. So I'm going to brake, downshift, and turn in at about the same time, and I'm braking really just enough to put some weight on the nose to turn it, and then I'll essentially trail brake to the apex and go full throttle right before the apex, hopefully. And you can really track out there. Sometimes those tires will bite you, but it's not normally too bad. So that's pretty much how I attempt to drive the track. Hope it's helpful.